What's up? It's your boy Carcino here. Let's get into it. Like we always do about this time. Now, for those who don't know or been under a rock, I want to say it's about 6 months ago, the internet was buzzing with Stephen A. Smith and Molly news. Oh, it was everywhere. You couldn't get it off your clothes if you tried. Molly and Stephen A. news was everywhere. Couldn't get rid of it. Now, here's the situation. And I want to be clear with it so that the whole world understands what's going on. First off, I want to also thank all my Patreons, people who joined the Patreon. We're going to have an exclusive talk about this later on. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a lot more than what you finna hear right now on the Patreon. The Cash App is Carcino, and definitely subscribe to this page. And here we go. Now, Jalen Rose did an interview with GQ magazine because he wanted to address all of these things that was going on months ago about the rumors that happened between the separation and the divorce of him and Molly. Now, I think ESPN, they never really discussed it. Um, but I think with everything that was going on with Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, he wasn't a very likable person at the time. And with all the changes that was going on up there, I think those people are the ones that started the Molly and Stephen A. rumor. And they didn't care because like half of those people really don't like Stephen A. Smith. So it is what it is. But I was the one from the very first video was telling you guys how untrue that would actually be. But it was like Jalen was staying silent, which was making it worse. And you know Jalen would want to respond, but out of respect for Molly and Stephen A., period, he just didn't want to give it life. But this thing was trending already. Like it was huge. And in his personal relationship, he said he thought it was always laughable to see Molly and him basically part ways. You know, they always would be in accord, but he said we're parting ways, and they seeing people speculating on why. He said not only speculating, but particularly saying it was because of her and Stephen A. having a relationship, and he basically was saying how that bothered him. And he was like, man, I'm not here to speak for what he does in his personal life or what she does in her personal life. I got love for both of them. We still 100. I would just say that for people who thought we parted ways because those two have a relationship, then I got some swampland in Detroit to sell you for top dollar. That's not why we split. I know that. I told you guys that. I told you the why. But he says, I still see that, by the way. I might have something about someone's team, and he might say something about somebody's team, and then he'll see that's why Molly left him, or that's why Stephen A. kicking it with your ex-wife. And he's like, man, that's not true. But when it happened, it's two ways for me to handle it as a professional. I work with him. I got love for him, and that's my brother. I got love for her. We were friends before we were married. We just didn't work as a couple. I just saw her today. We cool. But for me to see the speculation and for people to assume that was why, it bothered me. So he also said it was trending online. Stephen A. Smith was trending. Molly Curran was trending. I was trending. It was a real thing. And I'm like, am I about to respond to that? It gave me a real fork in the road, but I didn't because I knew it wasn't true. I would just be fueling those people who not only were saying it, but sprinkling it a little here and there. It made people who ran with it look less credible when I started sprinkling, when meaning what he's saying is that he took a picture with Stephen A. and they was just smiling and he posted it at the game. So it made people look a little less, credible. And then he said we discussed it. It's why none of us said anything. People would say Jalen's a sucker. Stephen A. snatched your wife, and he up there working, and she up there working with him and all this stuff, and you working with him. Or look at Molly. She was talking to Jalen yesterday. Now she kicking it with Stephen A. That ain't happening. we all look at it like it was such a reach that that's why none of us even spoken on it. He's like, after being separated for a year, Molly and I decided to go our separate ways. We both remain friends, colleagues, and on the best course of action in our relationship moving forward. Please respect our privacy at this time. When you say please respect our privacy, you just said, okay, come on down. Because that's what they finna do. They are finna tear you apart the moment you say that. Now, they were friends uh, before they, got married, and they still friends today. And it's normal, in this business for people to still have to see each other and be professional no matter what's going on in their life. Now, I've seen a lot of stuff. They were going for divorce. This person was trying to take everything they had. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Well, one of the main problems that they had was, and I'll repeat it because people seem to be very confused when it came to the actual facts of the situation. And it was more what was happening in both of their lives. Jalen was going through something and she didn't know how to help him. And when somebody is going through something and they don't know how to help the other person, it's like, it's hard when another person's going through depression, mental breakdowns, and things like that because of loss of family members and things around them. That's difficult. It's really difficult for one person to take. Listen to Molly.
5 people in my family this year. And I know what kind of pain he's in, and I know it's very similar to what you're doing. And works here. We've lost 5 people. We've lost. It's not a secret. My husband works here. We've lost 5 people in my family this year, and I know what kind of pain he's in, and I know it's very similar to what you're doing. And to feel like you can't support the person, and to feel shut out, and wanting to do everything, and seeing them hurting. So that's why I'm here. So I apologize to my family. I'm sorry that that came out on national television, but it's real, and it's life, and it's
And
been,
Jalen comes to work every day.
yeah, and it's
and
been
works through
a
it.
really hard couple of years, and yeah, and he really does. And so again, you're lucky to have amazing people in your inner circle that encourage you to do that, and I'm glad that you got the help. And
But Jalen's lucky to have you. I watch Jalen all the time because I'm watching him, and I know I don't have to say a word to him. I know what that brother is going through.
It's unreal.
This is the first time in my life that I didn't have my mother and grandmother on Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? And it's been tough. It's really been tough for me and my family. But I'm gonna be strong though. You know, I got a lot of people that rely on me, a lot of people that love me, a lot of people that believe in me. So I'm gonna represent. And Mom, I'm gonna make you proud. You know, like we fell in love with basketball together. You know what I'm saying? Like my father played in the league, and to not know him, she was like, "You gonna make it? You gonna get us out the hood? I promise." And I was like, "I'm gonna do it, Mom." And I did it. And we did it. Yeah.
Those weren't fake tears by neither one. This is real life, people. And when you're dealing with real life, those situations always rear their head. And that's why I kept making the videos and was telling you about the situations, because it was real. The situations was real. Nothing was faked. And for the people that hit the thanks button, I appreciate that. I got my first super thanks, I think the other day. Appreciate that. I never saw, people hit the super thanks up, but I appreciate that. But they lost 5 people due to COVID. Well, she did in her family. Jalen Rose lost his grandmother died. Big Michigan fan, and that was really hard on them in the family. Of course, losing your grandmother who was very close, and then his mother, and not having the both of them there, that has an effect on you. Losing my grandmother and grandfather had an effect on my life. It was like pieces of them were attached to me when they left this earth. And, you have to grow up. It forces you to grow up real fast. No matter what your age, you're pressed with the realities. We put reality on the back burner sometimes, and this is why another reason Jalen didn't say anything is because it was like he didn't want to go down that road of the pain of what he was going through at that time, dealing with why he asked for the divorce and that whole marital life thing. It gets to be a painful situation. You don't want to talk about it all the time. And you don't definitely want to look like the person that's, screwing up. Well, everyone gets blamed for things, and a lot of people don't like it. I don't like to get blamed. Nobody likes to get blamed. It's a it's a hard situation to deal with, but more hardly than anything is people being blamed and the fingers pointed at them like everything is their fault, or they start feeling everybody's blaming them. That is the hardest part to deal with, because you're looking at a situation in which, like, man, why is everybody pointing a finger at me? Why am I the one to be the one to say I'm the one that did this wrong or that person did something wrong? Like, wow, really? Am I that bad of a person? Well, Jalen is hurting, and when somebody's hurting, you leave him alone, and he's forever going to be hurt. He's doing good now, but whenever he thinks or reminisce on his mom, or Mother's Day come around, like Mother's Day's coming right back around, he might just freak out, have another mental breakdown or something. That's a powerful weight to hold. I think about my grandmother all the time. And I see how the effective like how it affected my mother. That's her mom. She talked to my grandma every day. Every day she would call my grandma. Even if it annoyed my grandma, they spoke every day. Well, there's a lot of people out there that they on the clock. You know what I mean? Like they're really on the clock. The things that they do or they say, or the emotions that they go through, is some of it is just like, really? Is this what we gonna do right now? Nah, man. I'm I'm just I'm not even I'm not even caught into that nonsense that most people talk about. Now, no one trying to say you don't have free speech, but I'm trying to tell you the real. While everybody else just want to spin you for views and talk about how Molly was getting down with Stephen A and all that, I was just telling you what I knew. And I'll let you hear it from their words, because that's real relationship pain. Not everything comes down to sex or somebody cheating. And unfortunately, as people, we direct others into thinking that, oh, somebody was cheating. This is what happened. When you cheat and this and that, it's not even about that. I think they loved each other, and just grief and loss. That people, some people don't come back and recover from that. They have, they start to go through different problems. Well, the way we look at it is more simpler than that. We look at it as a teachable moment. You want to always be in a position where you could teach or educate, um, you know, the next generation of people that come along. Now, this guy's message in the email. That's crazy. But most people that were successful in the NBA and had a very successful career, they went on to do different acts or different things, or they were able to, move forward in their lives, doing different, attributes for people and say different things. And other people who were successful in the NBA, when they retired, they became basically ghosts. You didn't really hear from them anymore. But Jalen Rose, who really kind of didn't have a successful career in the NBA, I guess, he was there for a minute, but I wouldn't really call it a breakout success story. I would just mostly call it a bad situation gone even worse. But Jalen had the gift of gab. And when you got the gift of gab, you can keep a job. You can keep a job, you can do well. You can do well, okay, there's some hope. There's some hope for you in this business. Everyone is going to think a certain way about you. They're going to look at you under a microscope and try to evaluate you. This is what they do. It's society. It's called life. People are going to do it. So you're going to have to just get used to it. They hadn't been together for a long period of time enough to cause that kind of wave. Now, well, the beautiful thing about life is that you're looking at a situation where you gotta love what you do, because everyone is trying to figure it out. If you'd have said, man, when I grow up, I want to be a sports analyst or I want to be a blogger, life end up pulling you into directions. When you're a kid, you talk about, I want to be a fireman, I want to do all this. People say all these things as a kid. You don't know what you really truly want to do. Some people do. They know from the jump. They want to be a pilot. Their daddy flew a plane or was in the military. But whatever your ambition was, you know, there it is. I want to actually be rich just so I could do the things I want to do when I want to do them. That was my goal. I didn't want to be rich to show off to other people I'm rich. That was never my goal. It's not in my DNA. I don't care about bragging to other people. It only makes you look desperate and small. I never cared what the next man had. I always cared about what I had. And that's how progress is done. That's how winning is done. So I'm glad he finally said something and explained why he didn't say anything back then. We get it now. Oh, shouts out to Kev Cook, man. I ain't seen Kev Cook in a minute. Shout brethren. So don't forget to follow, subscribe. If you watch this video after that, you can hit the super thanks button, or my cash app is Carcino. Hopefully everybody here is subscribed already. If you're new, subscribe to the page so you don't miss anything. And on the Patreon, we will give you the rest. Oh, we got a lot to say on the Patreon. The Carcino for Life Patreon, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know. I'm out.